She was born before Oklahoma became a state. Late last month, Parma Lou Lewis celebrated her 107th birthday. Born in Texas in 1905, she lived in and around Davidson, Oklahoma since 1916. Not many people can say they didn't have indoor plumbing until they were 45, or that they were 21 years old before the first radio station signed on in Oklahoma. Parma Lewis has seen more than most in her nearly 11 decades on this earth, and she shared both the good times and the bad with 7 News reporter Scott Miller. Scott?
Well, Parma Lou, nobody's really called her that in a long time, but most people just call her Parma, but it just rolls off the tongue. She is a delightful woman, still mentally sharp, and for 107 in pretty good health. Can't remember some days too well, but then again, she has lived for almost 40,000 days. She moved to Davidson, Oklahoma in 1916.
And I finished high school, I guess, well, you figure it out.
As you can plainly see, Parma is a hoot, and she was a looker back in the day. Didn't take long for Lonnie to scoop her up. Their families were friends, knew each other as kids.
My sister, Sue, that's older than me, married my husband's brother. And we met again. At that time, we stood up with them for them to get married. And then 5 months later, we got married.
Like most Americans in the early 1900s, they lived on a farm. And when your family owned a farm, you worked. And when I asked her if she'd ever picked cotton,
yes, I started picking cotton. I was 5 years old.
Farm life wasn't hard. That's the way she remembers it. Survived the Depression doing whatever they had to do. Lonnie ran the farm and worked at the cotton gin in town for extra money. And Parma did her part.
Ran our cream to town and eggs to trade for groceries. We made it.
If the Depression wasn't enough, Parma and Lonnie battled the Dust Bowl, and it was brutal. She was carrying her little baby boy in a basket.
When this storm come, it was so bad that we crawled to the dugout and scooted him in the basket and got in the dugout because it was, well, it was so bad you couldn't see anything.
You'll never guess how Parma used to get her news before there was television. Alexander Graham Bell would be proud, I think. It was called a party line.
Out on the farm, we had a phone hanging on the wall, and every time it rung, everybody run and listened to the neighbors talk. That's the way we had our news. Everybody knew what the other fellow was doing.
And you knew I had to ask her the secret to such a long life. So how do you do it?
Well, I don't do it. The Lord does.
Maria Puentes takes care of Parma 6 days a week, reads a daily devotional to her every day, and on Sunday a friend comes over and they study their Sunday school lesson. Parma Lewis has outlived her husband, their 2 sons, and all of her brothers and sisters. When she was a child, she got around on a wagon pulled by the family mules. First time she saw a car, says the noise scared her, made an awful racket. She has lived an amazing long life. Parma says she isn't as sharp as she used to be. And while that may be true, she is one special lady. May have to talk to her again next year when she turns 108.